Then Robin Hood laughed aloud. "Nay," said he, "thou mayst set thy mind at rest, for well do I know, Robin Hood, and well do I know that thou art in more danger for him this days than thou'rt for me." At this the sheriff looked askance at Robin, saying to himself, "I like not that thou seemest so well acquainted with this bold outlaw, and I wish that I were well out of Sherwood Forest." But still they travelled deeper into the forest shades, and the deeper they went, the more quiet grew the sheriff. At least they came to where the road took a sudden bend, and before them a herd of dun deer went tripping across the path. Then Robin Hood came close to the sheriff, and pointing his fingers, he said, "There are my horned beasts, good sheriff. How dost thou like them? Are they not fat and fair to see?" At this the sheriff drew rein quickly. "Now, fellow," quoth he, "I would I were well out of this forest, for I like not thy company. Go thou thine path, good friend, and let me go mine." But Robin only laughed and called the sheriff bridle rein. "Nay," cried he, "stay a while, for I would thou shouldest see my brothers, who own these fair horned beasts with me." So saying, he clapped his budger to his mouth and winded 3 merry notes, and presently up the path came leaping 50 good-shod yeomen, with Little John at their head. "What wouldest thou have, good master?" quoth Little John. "Thy," answered Robin, "dost thou not see that I have brought goodly company to fast with us today? Fie for shame! Do you not see our good friend and worshipful master, the Sheriff of Nottingham? Take thou the bridle, Little John, for he has honored us today by coming to feast with us." Then all jothed their hasty humbly, without smiling or seeming to be in yeast. Well, Little John took the bridle rein and led the palfrey still deeper into the forest, all marching in order, with Robin Hood walking beside the sheriff, head in hand. All his time the sheriff said never a word, only looked about him like all at once suddenly awaking from a sleep. But when he found himself going within the very depths of Sherwood, his heart sunk within him, for he thought, "Surely my 300 pounds will be taken from me, even if I take not my life myself, for I have plotted against their lives more than once." But all seemed humble and meek, and not a word was said of danger, either to life or money. So at least they came to that path that of Sherwood Forest, where a noble oak spread its branches wide, and beneath it was set all made of moss, on which Robin sat down, placing the sheriff at his right hand. "Now busk ye, my merry men all," quoth he, "and bring forth the best we have, both of meat and wine, for his worship the sheriff hath feasted me in Nottingham Gilden Hall today, and I would not have him go back empty." All this time nothing had been said of the sheriff's money, so presently he began to pluck up heart. "For," said he to himself, "maybe Robin hath forgotten all about it." Then a while beyond in the forest bright fires crackled, and savory smells of sweetly roasted virgins and fat capucins filled the glade, and brown pastries warmed beside the blaze, that Robin Hood entertained the sheriff right royally. First, several couples stood forth at quarterstaff, and so shrewd were they at the game, and so quickly did they give stroke and parry, that the sheriff, who loved to watch all lusty sports of the kind, clapped his hands, forgetting where he was, and crying aloud, well struck, thou fellow with the black beard," little knowing that the man he called upon was the tinker that tried to serve his warrant upon Robin Hood. Then several yeomen came forward and spread close upon the green grass and placed a royal feast, while others still broached barrels of snack and malmsey and good stout ale, and set them in jaws upon the cloth, with drinking horns about them. Then all sat down and feasted and drank merrily together, until the sun was low and the half-moon glimmed with pale light betwixt the leaves of the trees overhead. Then the sheriff arose and said, "I thank you all, you men, for the merry entertainment ye gave me this day. Right curiously have ye used me, showing therein that ye have much respect for our glorious king and his duties in brave Nottinghamshire. But the shadows grow long, and I must away before darkness comes. Let it loose, my friends, within the forest." Then Robin Hood and all his merry men arose also, and Robin said to the sheriff, "If thy vows must go, worshipful sir, go thou must, but thou hast forgotten one thing." "Nay, I forgot nothing," said the sheriff, yet all the same his heart sunk within him. "But I say thou hast forget something," quoth Robin. "We keep a merry inn here in the greenwood, but whoever becomes our guest must pay it his reckoning." Then the sheriff laughed, but the laugh was hollow. "Well, jolly boys," quoth he, "we have had a merry time together today, and even if ye had not asked me, I would have given you a score of pound for the sweetest entertainment I have had." "Nay," quoth Robin seriously, "it would ill beseem us to treat your worship so meanly. By my faith, sir sheriff, I would be ashamed to show my face if I did not reckon the king's deputy at the £300. Is it not so, all merry men?" "Aye," cried all in a loud voice. 300 devils, roared the sheriff. "Think ye have your beggary fast was worth £300, let alone £300. "Nay," quoth Robin gravely, "speak not so loudly, your worship. I do not leave thee for the sweetest feast thou hast given me this day in merry Nottingham town, but there be those here who love thee not so much. If thou wilt not look down, the cloth wilt see will stolly in those ease. Those hast not great favour, then 2 other stout fellows are there. Here thou not knowest that were wounded in a barrel in Nottingham some time ago. Thou wottest when one of them was sore hurt in one arm, yet he hath got the use of it again. Good sheriff, be advised by me. Pay those score without more ado, or maybe it may fare it with thee." As he spoke, the sheriff's ruddy cheeks grew pale, and he said nothing more, but looked upon the ground, and gnave his nether lip. Then slowly he drew forth his fat purse, and threw it upon the cloth in the front of him. "Now take the purse, Little John," quoth Robin Hood, "and see that the reckoning be right. We would not doubt our sheriff, but he might not like it if he should find he had not paid his full score." Then Little John counted the money, and found that the bag held £300 in silver and gold. But the sheriff, it seemed as if every click of the blinking bright money was a drop of blood from his veins. And when he saw it all counted out in a heap of silver and gold, filled a wooden patter, he turned away and slightly mounted his horse. "Even never have we have a worshipfully a guest before," quoth Robin, "and as the day waxed late, I will send one of my young men to guide thee out of the depths of the forest." "Nay, heaven forbid," cried the sheriff hastily. "I can find my own way, good man, without aid." Then I will put thee on the right track mine own self, quoth Robin. And taking the sheriff's horse by the rein, he led him into the main forest path. Then before he let him go, he said, "Now fare thee well, good sheriff, and when next thou thinkest to despoil some poor prodigies, remember thy feast in Sherwood Forest. Ne'er buy a horse, good friend, without first looking into his mouth, as our good gaffer Swarthout says. And so once more thee farewell." Then he clapped his hands into the horses' backs, and off went nag and sheriff through the forest glades. Then bitterly the sheriff rode the day that first he meddled with Robin Hood, for all men laughed at him, and many ballads were sung by folks throughout the country of how the sheriff went to share and came home shone to the very quick. For those men sometimes overreached themselves through greed and guilt.